Friday.
More noise and self-belief, positive support from those in Garibaldi red away to our left-hand side. Through the opening half hour, it has been dominated by Manchester City, who lead 1-0.
Yeah, it has. And once again, another long ball tossed up there, and it's Diaz dominating Chris Wood in the air, you know, and that can't happen as regularly as it is. If you're only dealing on scraps, you've got to at least make it a 50-50 game.
Forest have got to try and get Hudson-Odoi into it. They've got to try and get Gibbs-White into it. Just got to try and get more possession inside Manchester City territory. And they've had a little bit more of the ball latterly. It is 74-26 in the City's favour now, but still, Forest, half an hour in, haven't had a single-sided goal. City have had 5, albeit that they haven't had a shot on target since the goal. Silva going out to the City right-hand side for Nunes, who's reinvented himself as a full-back in 2025. Back he goes for Savinho again. Savinho through the midfield and in there very strongly to win it back. Marmouche has done a good job. There's another goal at Anfield. Matt Jones.
This could be turning into a procession. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1. Spurs failed to deal with a Soberslide corner into the box. It falls to Gakpo. He creates some space and then angles the shot across Vicario into the corner. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1.
Number 17 of the season for Cody Gakpo. Liverpool 3, Tottenham 1. And the title is theirs. Not that there was any significant doubt about that. It hasn't been for a long, long time. Liverpool defeat in the league all season since Forest won their back at Anfield back in September. Just that loss at Fulham since then. One defeat in 30 after today by the look of it. Ball played forward. Wood comes back to the direction of place, chested it down. Now played forward by Gibbs-White. Hudson-Odoi round side of the penalty area, and Chris Wood, the ball's hit him and gone wide. But he was offside anyways. The ball came in. Hudson-Odoi's cross actually blocked by a City defender. He cannoned into Wood and ricochets wide, but the offside flag has come up.
Yeah, it was Hudson-Odoi who's gone slightly too earlier there, but they've probably had 2 or 3 opportunities to release players in behind. Hudson-Odoi's gone offside twice on those opportunities. Now he just needs to temper his run a little bit more, hold that run up. But it's the first time in the game on nearly 30 minutes that Wood has held the ball up to set up that attack.
There was a good jump by him with his back to the direction of play, brought the ball down on his solar plexus and fed Gibbs-White. Then he went out towards Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's the kind of combination that Nottingham Forest need to see much more readily than they have so far. 34 minutes in. The City have led for 32. Marmouche controlling an awkward ball on the left-hand touchline. Gibbs-White comes back to win the seconds. And now Danilo to Murillo. Murillo taking a touch, going back inside his penalty area. Comes down towards young Abbott again, and the tall blonde-haired defender, making only his second senior start today, will pump it forward. And Riley's back to help win it back. And then Kovacic angles a crossfield ball that he misses all of his teammates and is picked up by Harry Toffolo on the Nottingham Forest left. Now Dominguez to Anderson, back for Dominguez again. Harry Toffolo, with Forest's last Wembley appearance in mind, has a unique claim to fame. I'll leave you just thinking on that for a moment, as O'Reilly will try and bring it forward again. Is he fouled by Gibbs-White? Yes, he was. And it's a free kick that will be taken to Manchester City left-hand side. So the last time Forest played at Wembley, the only time they played at the new Wembley, the playoff final against Huddersfield, Harry Toffolo, the only player who played that day, who's playing today. And he wasn't playing for Forest then, he was playing for Huddersfield. So that just shows the fact that there's been such a huge turnover of the squad. None of the Forest team that was successful here 3 years ago for them feature today. All played for by Diaz. Yates, in fairness, would have done had he not been suspended. over on the Manchester City right with Savino. Now Rico Lewis. Lewis is 5 yards inside the Nottingham Forest half. 10 minutes to go to half-time. He's got it again as Rico Lewis works it back for Nunes. Nunes to Diaz. And the Diaz goes all the way back for his goalkeeper Ortega. And it's a very comfortable exercise in possession for Manchester City here on TalkSport.
Yeah, it is. And I've got to pick a couple of players out for City. Kovacic and Silva have been magnificent, using all their experience, knitting things together, and just dictated the tempo of the game also as well. Just in front of us, O'Reilly's been magnificent, I think.
It's the ball on the right-hand side for Manchester City with Bernardo Silva here on TalkSport and across the United States and Canada on Sirius XM FC. And a very good morning, good afternoon to you if you're listening in North America on Sirius today. Savinho plays the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area here. Carries on going, a left-footed effort that was easily blocked. The sliding challenge to get it further away from Dominguez. Gets it to halfway, but not to a teammate. O'Reilly's got all the time in the world to be able to run round that. Back under control, and City can build in a deeper position again here with Kovacic. Still leading 1-0. That very early Rico Lewis goal. Bernardo Silva just trying to clip one forward here for another Lewis run. And one knocked away by the Forest back line.
Their confidence has been shaken so much. You know, there's mistakes. They turn the ball over and it's just a hoisted clearance. You can tell in the nature of the way they're playing that this, I wouldn't necessarily say it was as much the goal, Jim, as much as how City have dominated them afterwards.
Well, over on TalkSport 2 right now, Arsenal lead in the Women's Champions League semi-final second leg. A goal up away at Lyon, who haven't been beaten all season in League and Cup, and that's 2-2 on aggregate. It's live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. This one, the FA Cup semi-final, playing for the right to meet Crystal Palace. They're through to their third ever FA Cup final. And they're in possession, Manchester City, leading by a goal to nil. We'll be setting up that final with Palace on Saturday, the 17th of May, as things stand right now. Grealish going back for O'Reilly. One season he's had, a coming-of-age season for him. I saw him playing in the UEFA Youth League when he was a heralded prospect just back in September. 6 or 7 months on, he's a regular fixture out of position on the left-hand side of Manchester City's back line. What a stunning job he's done. Marmouche has got it, running at Abbott, who shows him inside into a congested midfield area. The ball played forward, swept away by Toffolo on the edge of the box, and it goes back out of play for a throw that will be taken on the City right-hand side.
See, Forest this season have been absolutely brilliant on the counter-attack, and arguably one of the best teams in the league on counter-attack. They've just not had the opportunity to stage a counter-attack in any way, shape or form. They've either panicked when they've had opportunity to clear it and should have brought it down and find that pass, or alternatively City have stifled them on turnover.
There's O'Reilly. Pressure coming from Abbott. He's done well to force O'Reilly into the centre circle and to play the ball backwards. Now O'Reilly's got it, and the return ball can drive forward. Then Abbott slides in and cuts that out. Now makes his way back into position at right back. Dominguez had just filled in behind him while he'd had that sortie upfield. Diaz working it out to the right-hand side once more. Opportunity for City to bring it forward. On the way past Toffolo, though, he's defended it really well. Anderson back for Murillo. He's left-footed ball just to go straight away for a throw. Going to be taken on the Manchester City right-hand side. Let's go back pitch side. Alex Crew, what's the mood with the Forest fans behind you? Very subdued at the moment.
Yeah, fairly dejected, I would say, at this moment in time. I think they just need something from their team to get them excited. They're used to watching Nuno's men not have much of the ball, try and hit on the counter. They've had very few moments at the top end of the pitch. Maybe that will change when Forest are attacking their own supporters in the second half.
5 minutes to go to half-time, Stuart. At this moment in time, I'm guessing that you would advocate Nuno making changes at the break.
Yeah, I mean, pre-game, Jim, I said what is going to be key for Forest today, and the one thing that stood out to me was handle the occasion. I don't think they've handled the occasion at all. They played within themselves. This isn't the Forest side that set the Premier League alight, and they need to find that form. Now, Nuno's going to have to earn his wages at half-time by either making the odd change or certainly changing the formation of this team, because it's too easy for City at the moment, and the only plus they've got is it's still only 1-0.
Back to that point in a moment as Silva makes his way forward. He's gone out of play for a throw which Anderson would take from Forest. Silva thought that Anderson had fouled him. You talk about the players not handling the occasion. I've never been in the position where I've had to handle this sort of occasion. How easy is it? Is it just human nature? Is it understandable if you're a relatively young player playing in the biggest game of your life that you can't, that it all gets on top of you?
Yeah, I think it's more so the other players within the group, that it's not so much the youngsters. It's probably, you know, the likes of Chris Wood and whatever that's not held it up as readily as you would have liked to give his team a platform, and various other players within the group. Let alone, I think you've got to give Pep and his team credit that they've lined up in positions that have hurt Forest, and they've got game understanding as well.
Now Gibbs White trying to work the ball forward down the Nottingham Forest left-hand side. Toffolo gets there. His cross is blocked. It ricochets back off the full-back. City making a mess of trying to bring it away. And eventually can take control of the situation as the loose ball rolls over their ball line. And goes out for a goal kick that will be taken by Ortega away to the right-hand side. So 1-0 to City with 3 to go to the break.
Yeah, the sheer difference between the teams, you know, Forest have been defending their own goal. If the ball drops to any of their players, because of the way the game's gone, it's a hurried clearance that has been slashed into the crowd or given away. And City up the other end, they're in their box or in the corner flag and comfortably and composed play out. Admittedly, they're a team that have got a lot of trophies behind them over the last 10 years or so.
Certainly got that big game experience. So many of these players have won the FA Cup. For every Nottingham Forest player, they've never even played in the semi-final before. City on the front foot again here. And Abbott has done well. Good positional sense to divert the ball away from Marmoush. But all the second ball being won by City at the moment. It's O'Reilly that time. Now towards Grealish. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Marmoush has got it again. Another chance for him to try and run at Abbott, who's given him a little shove. And it's a free kick to Manchester City. And while they set it up, we'll go back to Anfield. Here's TalkSport's Matt Jones.
Just about a minute to go until half-time. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1. Still, Spurs are trying to make an impression on this game, but they just cannot handle Liverpool's midfield or the pace that they've got in attack. No real further chances for the Reds, but at the moment they're heading to that title. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1.
Thank you, Matt. So Spurs need to score 3 goals there without reply to prolong Arsenal's involvement in the title race for another few days. Free kick to City is near the corner of the penalty area. And a second goal for City here would be, we feel, a mortal wound for Forest. Silva taking this free kick in. Swung in very deep. Vardiol, the target at the back post. Toffolo got there first and it's come off the top of his head. Clears Vardiol and goes out of play for a throw over on the far side, the City right, that they will take down by the corner flag. 1-0 they lead after Rico Lewis's goal, just his 5th in 91 Manchester City appearances. Forest watchfully trying to cover the runs of the City players as they were bombing about, showing for this Mateus Nunes throw. And Forest win their own throw on the back of that, and if they can get through to half-time with the deficit of just 1, they might feel that that in a way is almost a Pyrrhic victory. Give them a chance to rebuild, and they have to improve in this second half. Throw taken up the Forest left-hand side, bounces once, it might make its way through towards Hudson-Odoi. It does. He's got Anderson showing in support for him. Wood making his way towards halfway. Ball played back for Toffolo, whose clearance is blocked. Kovacic can pick it up and will work it back calmly inside his own half. Diaz there first, and he will play it back to get City going again. Now Bernardo Silva has it. And Bernardo, who scored against Forest back in December. His 399th City appearance today. Down to 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half. We're on TalkSport. City lead by a goal to 0. The ball clipped forward. O'Reilly chases after it. Abbott is there. What have you made of the young man making only his second senior start today.
I think in his defensive work, his one-on-one work, he's not been tested that much, but he's been overloaded, and City are playing a passing game, Jim, that are passing through the thirds, but I think he's been pretty steady, to be fair to him.
Last opportunity for Forest before half-time, they win their first corner. No, not quite. They've all got to the dead ball line, but it was rescued by Guardiola and played back to Ortega, who gets it clear. Milenkovic can pick that up. Works it out towards the Nottingham Forest left-hand side for Murillo. Back from him to Danilo in the heart of the midfield. Now Dominguez has got it. Dominguez forward towards Anderson. And Milenkovic finds Anderson again, and that's the last touch of the first half. They got off to a shocking start from a Nottingham Forest perspective and didn't really get any better. Manchester City suffocated them with possession, not having too much in the way of constructive goal-scoring opportunity, but City really good value for a half-time score of 1-0.
And so they'll probably think as they walk into the dressing room that it should be more. Nottingham Forest are 1-0. They've definitely got a chance. They're definitely still in this. But what a big half-time team talk. What a big tactical address this has got to be from Nuno Espirito Santo. Let's first of all, Stuart Pearce, talk about the goal. Rico Lewis, 2 minutes down. Great finish from him. But did Forest respect Rico enough? If it was De Bruyne, if it was Marmoush in that position, they'd have tightened on him. They'd have got closer to him quicker. But it's Rico Lewis. He ain't going to score from there. And he did.
Well, I don't think it depends whether it was Rico Lewis or not. The bottom line is for 45 minutes they've not been close enough to their relative players. City have been able to play through the third too easily, get turned, and the only plus that Forest have got from that first 45 minutes is the fact Man City have only hit the back of the net once. If they'd have got a second or a third, you wouldn't say that was outlandish on the run of play aid.
Can we give Rico the respect, because we're talking about somebody we think is the best Premier League keeper this season, and he's beaten him from distance, and it's pinpoint.
Oh, it's a super turn and super finish. Let's take nothing away from the turn and the finish. It was a wonderful goal, there's no doubt about that, and he's got the turn on quickly, and he's also got his finish away, you know, so credit to him for that, there's no doubt about that. But I don't think that Forest are playing in a way that suits some of their players. I'm seeing right in front of us Gibbs White tracking back in a right side of midfield areas, helping out his fullback. That's not his best position. I think he needs to be a number 10, the centre of the pitch, getting on the ball, getting turned, showing that energy, ratting around people as well. Anderson's playing wide on the left. I don't think that's his best position, and too many of them are sort of square pegs in round holes, if you like.
So is that because Nuno's showing Man City too much respect, or he's just frankly got it wrong?
I think with his personnel, he's trying to line that personnel up in a manner that he thinks is going to be right and proper to take City on, but he's played into City's hands. And I've got to give Pep credit. You know, we line up, Grealish is playing, you think Grealish is playing the left of midfield. He hasn't played the left of midfield at all. In fact, Marmoush has played over here a little bit more. They've overloaded it. The young man playing left back, O'Reilly's been outstanding in the game, and you've got two old heads in Silva and Kovacic that have dictated the whole tempo of the game and played through the third. So there's got to be a change, whether it's Elanga coming on, Chris Wood's getting nowhere near holding the ball up or putting any pressure on people playing out. They play around him because he's a little bit immobile, and Forest are almost looking like the team that come up from the old Championship almost, you know what I mean? And they need to, through the manager as well, find a formation that's going to be helpful to them, and find a formation individually that their players are going to thrive on.
Well, the fans have done their bits for Nottingham Forest. Now the players have got to do theirs second half, because they simply haven't turned up in that first half. The good thing from a Forest point of view is they are still in this semi-final. Live on TalkSport, it's Manchester City 1, Nottingham Forest 0. On Merseyside, Liverpool are on their way to lifting the Premier League title. They had a scare. Comfortable right now at half-time though, Matt Jones.
They are indeed. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1 here at the break. Remember, they only need one more point to get themselves crowned as Premier League champions, but that fright came in the 12th minute. Dominic Solanke, the former Red, returning to haunt his old club as he sent a towering header into the far corner from Maddison's corner, but Liverpool responded brilliantly. Diaz converting from Szoboszlai's pass. All he had to do was get that on target, and it was 1-1. That was originally ruled out for offside before being given after VAR intervention. Liverpool then hit the front with a fantastic strike from Alexi McAllister. He smashed home from outside the area after good good work from Gravenberch, and they made it 3-1 when Gakpo reeled into space and found the far corner in the area as well. The Spurs defending of their 18-yard box has been horrendous. Far too many times they're allowing Liverpool to get to the ball first. Liverpool look hungrier, and they are hungrier, because Spurs, of course, have got that eye on that Europa League tie on Thursday night. But from a Red point of view, this crowd is electric. I've not seen like Anfield like this in many a year. They are expectant, and they are 45 minutes away from finally being able to celebrate a Liverpool title while being allowed inside the stadium. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1 at half-time.
They're on their way, aren't they? Let's get the latest odds from Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on Football Hackers or Bet Builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleware.org.
Sam Rossbottom's back on the show with us. Sam, Liverpool 3-1 up. What's the half-time odds then?
Yeah, Liverpool absolutely cruising, aren't they? I said before the game, it's going to be a coronation party, and that's exactly what it is at Anfield. Liverpool now as short as 1-50 to see this out with a win. Can Spurs upset the celebrations? 150-1 for them to turn it around and get the away win. The draw 25-1. I mean, Liverpool have scored 3 goals in that first half, but Mo Salah isn't on the score sheet. Not yet, anyway. We've odds boosted him to score any time. That's now 6-4.
What about this one here? At Wembley, Man City lead 1-0. They've dominated.
Yeah, it's 1-0 to the empty seats, Adrian. Way! City now into 2-9 to win this in 90 minutes. They've had just one shot on goal, though. Rico Lewis opening the scoring. So Forest aren't out of this one at all. Can they turn this around and win in 90 minutes? That's now 16-1 at the break. The draw to see this into extra time, currently 4-1. If Forest are to get back into this, as the guys have mentioned, you know, they're going to need their key players to really step up in that second half. Chris Wood to score in the second half, now 4-1, and I just wonder, can Forest get something with a set piece? If so, I'd be looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, 7-1 for him to get on the score sheet in the second half, but should be a cracking second 45 of all to play for still.
Sam, thanks very much. That's all thanks to Betfair 18 plus BeatGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on Football Hackers or Bet Builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleware.org.
Let me give you a couple of full times from League One. Stevenage 1, Rotherham 1 earlier. Birmingham beat Mansfield 4-0 at St Andrews earlier. Done better than they did at Wembley a couple of weeks ago. In the Women's Super League, Liverpool 2, Spurs 2, Palace 1, West Ham 7, Palace down. Everton 2, Brighton 3, injury time winner from Nikita Paris, and Man City 1-0 at Leicester. City's England star Jess Park with the goal in the Champions League, Women's Champions League. Chelsea are out, beaten 8-2 on aggregate. Arsenal 1-0 up away to Lyon, 2-2 on aggregate. It's an own goal that's put them in front. That's live on TalkSport 2 right now. In the Premier League earlier, finished Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 1. A Rasmus Højlund injury time equaliser meant that they shared the spoils in the Premier League. And while United boss Ruben Amorim believes his team deserves something out of the game, Cherries boss Andoni Iraola was certainly left wanting more.
Very, very frustrated for us. The repercussions of this last goal is huge, because it would be an amazing win for us, put us in a great position. And now it reduces a lot our chances. Yes, we are still 8th, in a good position. If there is a spot available in the 8th, that we don't know if there is, but we have to think that there could be. And now our position is more difficult, because we know we have now a very difficult schedule. We go Arsenal, Villa, City. It's difficult to get points from there, and for us these 2 points are massive.
Yes, I think if you look at the game, we deserve it. We had some situations we need to score, and even in first half we had chances that we could change a little bit the game. In the beginning, was hard for us to build up with a high intensity, the pressure from the opponent. But then during the game we were improving again. We need to score more goals.
Ruben Amorim there after the 1-1 draw at Bournemouth, who ended with 10 men. Evan Nielsen sent off. Manchester United away to Athletic Bilbao in the Europa League semi-final, live on TalkSport on Thursday night. Spurs against Bodo Glimt is live on the TalkSport app or on Talk Radio. And on TalkSport 2, there's Premier League action on Thursday night. Nottingham Forest take on Brentford. Here at Wembley, Man City lead Forest 1-0 in the FA Cup semi-final. Nuno's side haven't even had a shot on or off target. Surely they've got to be much better in the second half. It's coming up live next on TalkSport.
The Emirates FA Cup, live on TalkSport with Carly.
What a drive, I want to go! Oh, yes!
Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
You got a little Ouija with Paddy Power on this one then?
Yeah, mate. Big man to score anytime. I'm backing him.
And it looks like it's the big man who's coming off.
Oh, he's going to struggle to score from the bench, pal.
Oh.
Fear not, punter, because with Paddy Power's Super Sub, your bet carries over to the player coming on.
Y'all ready for this?
So now, all subs are super. Paddy Power. Football, you gotta love it. Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
Yes! The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 1st.
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
Their time.
I think we could be the people that are coming.
Has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Only in cinemas. Thursday, May 1st. Get tickets now.
This is the call of the chiff chaff. This is the call of the willow warbler. Hear the difference? Thankfully, some things are obvious. Like choosing Interactive Investor for your ISA and personal pension. With 30 years experience, over 430,000 customers, and a rating of excellent on Trustpilot, the choice is obvious. Search Interactive Investor. Investment values can go down as well as up. You could get back less than you invest.
Professional tilers know that Ultra Trade is a brand they can trust. And now, the Ultra Trade range is available at over 220 Wick stores nationwide. Check out our range of UK-manufactured tile adhesives, levelling compounds and primers, specifically designed for professional tilers. Find us online or visit your local Wicks today to discover exclusive offers and save £3 a bag on all S1 adhesives until the end of May. Ultra Trade from Wicks, your trusted products at a trusted location.
You know all about Total Football. Now, LiveScore Bet brings you Total Betting. It's everything you love about LiveScore. Scores and stats play alongside great odds, offers, free-to-play games, and a slick bet builder. Everything in one place. And to top it off, new customers can enjoy £30 in free bets when they bet £10 on sports. LiveScore Bet. Total Betting.
1.5 minimum odds, settle in first 14 days, free bets valid 7 days, £10 for bet builder only. T's and C's and deposit exclusions apply. Bet responsibly, 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
TalkSport Drive.
Tomorrow afternoon from 4 on TalkSport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein.
And I'm Darren Bent. Sports Mad Afternoon Radio, driven by you.
High revving reaction, turbocharged talk on your way home.
Big games, massive opinions, same budget.
Excellent handling of the day's biggest sports news.
TalkSport Drive.
Back tomorrow afternoon from 4.
With Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent.
The fastest football on the way home.
It is TalkSport live at Wembley. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights in partnership with Carling.
Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on TalkSport with Carling. Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
Wembley bedecked in red and blue, and if it's been a familiar trip for one set of supporters, it's anything but for the others. Kovacic, little give and go on the edge of the area, and it's slotted in by Rico Lewis from the edge of the box. Manchester City ahead inside a minute and 45 seconds.
And certainly there was too much time to get turned and get a finish away, but I've got to say, Rico Lewis, magnificent turn and strike on the edge of the box.
That's the only goal so far. Manchester City lead 1-0. That was thanks to Carling.
Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
Still waiting for the teams to come out. Let's go to Alex Crook, who's pitch side in front of the Nottingham Forest fans. And I'm just wondering, they've been supporting their team. I just wonder if they're a little bit downcast, disillusioned with what's happened in the first half.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit disappointed that maybe they've shown Manchester City too much respect. The applause that you can hear behind me from these Forest fans is because Anthony Elanga is just clapping. He is stripped ready to come on. The tracksuit top and bottoms have been discarded, so Elanga on at half-time. No real surprise there. Just speaking to one or two of the Forest fans behind me, I think they'd like to see Elliot Anderson in a more central role. They feel he's been wasted out on that left-hand side in the first half, so it'll be really interesting to see which player comes off, but Elanga certainly will be coming on.
And it's Danilo who is going to be coming off. I think it was always likely to be him or Dominguez, but it is Danilo who hasn't reappeared.
We'll let Jim and Stuart sort out how that all shapes up for Nottingham Forest in the second half. We are still waiting for Manchester City to emerge from their dressing room. Forest are out there. They've done a mini warm-up before the second half gets underway. Nuno is out as well, looking very pensive on the touchline. Willy Bolly having words with Elanga, serious words with Elanga, as they await Manchester City's appearance here at Wembley in the second half. It's not been good from Forest. I mean, the stats just prove that point. They've had, 25% of the ball. They've had no shots, nothing on target. They've really offered so little in what is their biggest game of the season. So this is going to be a huge 45 minutes for Nottingham Forest as Nuno gets hold of Anthony Elanga. Big words in his ear, right in his ear. He's holding his hand as well, just in his ear, explaining what he needs from him in the second half. And we're going to look back at that potentially after 90 minutes and say, well, were those the words that changed this FA Cup semi-final? We shall see. Forest need to change it, that's for sure, as City make their way out onto the pitch. You know, Man City's mascots are a pair of aliens called Moonchester and Moonbeam, and they must be feeling at home there's a lot of space in the City end of Wembley. Forest need a big second half here at Wembley. It's Man City 1, Nottingham Forest 0, live on TalkSport with a man who played for and managed both clubs, Stuart Pearce, alongside your commentator on TalkSport, Jim Proudfoot.
Stu, that's why he wins the awards. I wonder what it was, but it is that. It is that. Forest making a change. Danilo is off, and Anthony Elanga on his 23rd birthday is the man that has come on. Elanga, who did play one Manchester derby in his time with United. What can he do against Manchester City here, who get us back underway? They're kicking from left to right, light blue shirts and white shorts. Forest, red shirts and white shorts, and they're attacking the end of the ground that holds all of their supporters. And they'll be hoping for more. They need more in this second half. So Elanga has gone out towards the right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi on the left.
Yeah, as I say, I remember this time last year, the Manchester Derby FA Cup final, and United lined up a front three of very tight. The wide players tucking in out of possession, driving City wide. And I think that's probably what's needed out of possession. And get Gibbs White in a more centralised position. And hopefully Anderson in a more centralised position as well. I don't think it's helped them at all, but they need to something to go their way very quickly in the game, and this could be it.
Work it forward here for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Good run forward from Elanga! Should have scored. 50 seconds after coming on. Hudson-Odoi whipping the ball in. Elanga running onto it. Struck it from about 7-8 yards out. And he's put it narrowly wide of the near post. Hits the target there. He almost certainly scores.
Well, we're talking about something going their way. That attack went their way, and that should have been the equaliser. A really bad miss, but much better from Forest.
Let's go pitch side. Alex Crook.
Can't believe he's missed that, Jim. I'm right behind the goal. He was ready to celebrate. I've got to say, there was a sort of steely fist pump from Chris Wood after the miss. Maybe, even though the ball didn't go in, that's the moment that gets Forest into this FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah, they've got to find a way. Good play there, and it's this pace on either flank now with Gibbs White in behind that have got to turn the screw in their direction if humanly possible. And the half-time break, as we often see, might be that thing that helps Forest get back in the game.
Jack Grealish is flagged offside. Free kick taken quickly by Forest, working forward, Toffolo down to Anderson, trying to release Hudson-Odoi, and they've got a throw taken quickly. City are able to clear. But what that start of the second half has done, it hasn't brought Forest back on level terms, but there's a feeling that it's a catalyst for a little bit more self-belief, certainly amongst the supporters, and you would imagine amongst the players as well. City so completely on top from what we've seen so far. Free kick given against Anderson for a handball, but he disagreed with it. This is how the two teams line up. City effectively playing without a striker today. Ortega in goal, Nunes, Diaz, Vardiol and O'Reilly the back four, and then it's kind of a midfield six all floating about. Silva and Kovacic the deepest lying of the six in midfield, and Lewis coming forward, Grealish coming forward. They're almost playing as double false nines. Marmoush drifting out of the left, Sabinho on the right, but they will come in as and when they see fit. Forest just haven't been able to deal with that kind of movement at all. Forest themselves, Sells in goal, Abbott, Milenkovic, Murillo and Toffolo. And then Dominguez sitting in midfield with Anderson, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, who's come on at half-time for Danilo, wide of Chris Wood through the middle up front. 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. And with Talk Sport in the United Kingdom, now with Sirius XM FC in North America across the United States and Canada. And the ball over on the left-hand side of the Manchester City midfield with Marmoush. Played back inside his own half with Vardiol. Vardiol then gets a return pass and he's forced just to retreat a little. I don't know if Nuno's really ripped into his side in the second half. He felt in the first 45 minutes that they were almost going down with a whimper and without any kind of self-belief. It's a performance that's more redolent of what we've seen from the Reds so far this season. But they're on the back foot here as Lewis plays the ball in towards the near post. I don't know whether it actually hit the post or Sells kicked it away right down in front of the post. Back for Nunes now. Nunes tight angle. Sells saved that one. Volley back into deflection. Kicked off the line by Sells. And the referee indicates by pointing to his watch that it didn't go over the line. Must have been close. The goal decision system coming in there as a left-footed ball came in. Did it hit the hand of Abbott? They're appealing the City players that it should be a penalty. That deflection off Abbott, wrong-footed Sells, but he was able just to kick the ball away with his left foot, and somehow Forest survived.
Yeah, it's the handball that they're claiming, not ball over the line, I think, Jim. As you say, it was a strike. No, not for me. Hand by the side. And I've got to say, Sells has done brilliantly on a secondary from getting up off the floor, getting back in line with the ball, just left his foot and just managed to hook it away.
Well, the right hand is, the left hand, I beg your pardon, is just about in a natural position. It's down behind him as the corner comes in, and it's headed in for 2-0. No doubt about that. Brilliant delivery, swung in from the left-hand side. Marmoush getting the angle right, the elevation, and it's a flying header from the edge of the 6-yard box. Vardiol doubling the lead, and Nottingham Forest, after an improved start of the second half, find themselves conceding early again. Lewis in the first, Vardiol in the second. There might be no way back. City looking nailed on now for a third successive FA Cup final.
Yeah, after a reasonable start to this second half from Forest, it was a corner, a basic corner into the box, and Vardiol wanted it more than anybody else. A towering header, I've got to say. He's rose brilliantly and just skimmed it off the top of his head into that far corner. Great header from him, I've got to say. Forest will be disappointed though. No blocker, no contention for the ball.
Well, Murillo was the player that was on him, and Vardiol just peeled away from him, took a step back, and then from that point he had a free header. Any kind of contact he was going to score. Nothing Sells could do about it, relying on his defenders in front of him to do the job. They didn't. Vardiol's 6th goal of the season sees Manchester City lead by 2-0. Forest over the course of this season have proved themselves so good on the penalty shootouts as the ball is played in here. But they need 2 in 39 minutes from here to give themselves any chance at all of even getting to a penalty shootout for the 4th successive round. They've got a throw here taken by Hudson-Odoi, and I'll tell you something now, that 46-minute miss from Elanga is taking on epic proportions.
It certainly is. Another opportunity there for Forest that Gibbs White made a great run. He's tried to steer it back to Wood, but just didn't put enough on it.
So here's Callum Hudson-Odoi making his way forward. Running towards the edge of the penalty area. Down towards Toffolo. Left-footed delivery towards the edge of the box. Is actually behind Gibbs White and knocked away by Kovacic, and then given away by Dominguez. Rico Lewis is able to bring the ball forward, but he ran down the cul-de-sac. 4 red shirts quickly converging on him. He was pulled to the ground. And it's a free kick that will be taken on halfway. Nuno will have been really happy with the opening 5 minutes of the second half, but done after the handball shout against Abbott from the resulting corner. Done for a second goal by Guardiola's header, and it feels as though it's almost mission impossible now.
Yeah, it does. City will absolutely thrive in this environment now. 2 goals up, dominating possession of the ball. But it's symptomatic of Forest at the moment. Hudson-Odoi has received the ball in front of us on 2 occasions, and instead of taking his full-back on, he's checked out. You can't afford to do that now, Jim. He's got to get on the front foot. You've got to go and try and take someone and create a reaction within the crowd.
Live on TalkSport 2 right now. Arsenal leading in Lyon by a goal nil in the Champions League semi-final second leg. That's 2-2 on aggregate. Now let's find out what's been going on early in the second half at Anfield with TalkSport's Matt Jones.
It's still Liverpool 3, Spurs 1. Spurs so unhappy with their first half performance. They've made 2 changes. Kulusevski and Scar on for Maddison and Gray. Liverpool are pushing but unable to find that 4th as of yet. Liverpool 3, Spurs 1.
And of course, that is plenty for them to get the job done today. They will be crowned champions. There's Rico Lewis. Manchester City, less than 40 minutes away from the FA Cup final. FA Cup final against Crystal Palace. Savinho coming forward. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Cross the edge of the 6-yard box and flick just wide. Marmouche coming onto it. And then there's a thumping challenge on the edge of the penalty area, which has involved Grealish, and one of the Nottingham Forest players has gone down holding his head. The ball was there to be won. Boot raised by Jack Grealish. And he's caught the Forest man, and Grealish receives a yellow card. Gibbs White, the player that has gone down, now just getting back to his feet.
Well, this is where the laws of the game are a little bit ridiculous. The ball's floating in the air, and Grealish has only got eyes for the ball. His foot's up in the air, granted, and he's caught Gibbs White in the head. Referee deems that a yellow card. A kid slips over in the Bournemouth game, and that's a red card and 3-game ban. It's, ridiculous.
Well, not the first incident that's been similar to that Bournemouth have suffered with in the Premier League. They had the Zabani dismissal against Wolves that you'll remember as well, that they appealed. Back pass was good enough, although initially it looked as though it might not have been from Bernardo Silva. He did get it back for Ortega, although it just piqued Chris Wood's interest for a moment. He's never going to get that. Long crossfield ball goes out to the City left-hand side, but past O'Reilly, and out for a throw that'll be taken by Nottingham Forest. So a goal in the opening 5 minutes of each half for Manchester City, who are 2-0 up here against Nottingham Forest. It's not to knock Forest out of the Cup for the first time in more than 100 years. Forest's first FA Cup semi-final for 34 years, as things stand right now, hasn't been worth the wait. City have been completely dominant, and they will feel that the 2-goal lead is reflective of their superiority over the course of the 55-56 minutes that we've played so far. Anthony Elanga with a golden opportunity to get Forest back on level terms right at the start of the second half. Seconds after coming on, he missed it. And with that, has Forest's hope gone. Abbott throwing the ball back to his goalkeeper. Sells will get it away. A long right-footed clearance from him. Wood going up for that, beaten by the bearded Guardiola far too easily, really. And then Toffolo has to get there quickly ahead of Savinho. Forest getting the ball back under control. Work it back for Milenkovic, who won the Coppa Italia in the past in his Fiorentina days. Back from him to Murillo. And now out to the left-hand side for Toffolo. Toffolo in towards Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi through the midfield for Elliot Anderson. Forest with more of the ball in the second half, but They feel that they need a miracle from the position that they find themselves in at the moment. Long ball over the top for them here. Vardiol again able to deal with that one. It was Elanga that time that he beat in the air. Back for Bernardo Silva. Silva working it to Vardiol and then back through the midfield again. City now can bring it forward with Ruben Diaz. The ball just going over the edge of the centre circle into the feet of Lewis. Silva's got it once more. Silva just inside his own half, finding O'Reilly. O'Reilly hasn't had the major impact that he did in the quarter-final win at Bournemouth, but he hasn't had to in the same way. Ball played forward here, and a sliding challenge comes in from Milenkovic. Foul on Grealish. Free kick taken, well, too quickly for the referee's liking. It was a good, intelligent, quick free kick that Grealish tried to take. He put his hand on the ball, stopped it, flicked it out of the left-hand side for Marmoush, but the referee said that he wasn't ready, and City will get the chance just to get the big guns forward towards the edge of the penalty area and set one up for deep from Bernardo Silva. 58 gone. It's 2-0 to Manchester City.
For this game to change its momentum in any way, shape or form, I think some of the speed merchants for Forest have got to be a bit braver in the wide areas and take people on. They've been a bit too cautious, a bit too, bit backwards rather than forwards, and that's, you're playing up against players that don't really want to be taken on.
Free kick is taken. Diaz coming around the back of the far post, slides in. Won't make any contact on that. And he goes out of play for a goal kick that will be taken away to the right-hand side. Forest have still got Morato, Sangare, Awoniyi, Alex Moreno, Jota Silva, Sosa and Bolly on the bench. Would you advocate making another change with the hour mark approaching?
Awoniyi looks as though, might be a good addition. Chris Wood has really struggled to get into this game.
Challenge coming in, that one on Elanga over on the far side, and a free kick taken quickly by Forest, and we're back to Elanga by Gibbs White. Elanga right hand side of the penalty area trying to stand the ball up, but Diaz has got an easy job of knocking that away. O'Reilly with a slightly injudicious touch back inside his own penalty area, but that's cleared easily by Vardiol, the scorer of the second City goal. Gets it towards halfway. Forest can get their foot on the ball and bring it down with Anderson. You're listening to Nottingham Forest against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Talk Sport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Here come Forest again. Right in front of us, midway inside the Manchester City half. Hudson-Odoi. Back for Anderson. Right-footed ball clipped forward. Couldn't get to Gibbs White. Vardiol saw to that. Kovacic just playing calmly the way that he's facing back for Nunes. He whacks it away. And Murillo will mop that up and go back to his goalkeeper.
I've got to say, Jim, I mean, if this game follows the same pattern it has done and City end up winning it, there'll be a lot of talk about, Forest not coming and not turning up today. But you've got to give Manchester City and the manager credit. He's lined this team up and he's made it very difficult for Forest, and they've dominated the play, and the way he's lined people up. Grealish playing more inverted in this game. Mamouche, the centre forward, playing sort of out wide, if you like. Silva's just gone and got on the ball and played wherever he wants to play and dictated the tempo of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those days where the headlines are always going to be taken by Nottingham Forest, whatever happened. It's the nature of the beast, and they haven't been here for so long in this kind of game. Wood's going to chase after a long ball here, but Ortega did really well, read the situation. He's had very little to do, but he just calmly trotted outside his penalty area to sweep up. The credit's got to go to Manchester City because they really have been excellent. There's a City side, remember, that have only won 16 of their last 37 games. I say only in the context of Pep Guardiola's reign. 16 wins in 37 is an extraordinarily bad run in the context of the 8 years that preceded it. But they're well on top here. They get to the byline, ball in, Savinho trying to attack that, and it was just headed away in front of him by Murillo, and out of play for another corner.
Just emphasising my point there, Bernardo Silva, no wonder he's my favourite player in the Premier League. He's picked the ball up, he's driven past Anderson in midfield, played a 1-2, got him behind to the touchline and stood a brilliant cross-up to the middle of the goal. And he's just enjoying his football, just rolling back the years today.
One of Live over on TalkSport 2 in first half stoppage time of that Women's Champions League semi-final. Arsenal 2 up away to Lyon. Mariona Calvante adding to the own goal from Christiane Endler early on. 2-0. They lead 3-2 on aggregate. In comes the corner for Manchester City. And it's cleared out as far as Marmoush on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He'll come back inside, nudges it away, sets up Grealish, gets a return ball. Marmoush, good save. Sells, diving backwards, got his hands to it, and was able to beat it away over the bar.
Really good play but there by City. Recycled the corner, and Grealish, great reverse pass to Marmoush, and tried to beat Sells in that near post area. He just got a good hand on it and forced it for a corner.
Corner, which is City's 5th of the game without reply. They've already won more in the second half than they did in the first. And this one is worked short to Grealish. Hudson-Odoi allowing easy passage inside the penalty area. It's only half cleared, now beaten away and thrashed clear from inside that penalty area by Gibbs-White. The throw that will be taken on the Manchester City left by Grealish. He gets a really good ovation from the City supporters just behind him as he takes that throw. Ball back for Bernardo Silva. Silva coming forward towards halfway. Nuno standing almost motionless on the edge of the technical area. And watching as his side struggling to get any kind of foothold in this second half now. It's been another goal at Anfield. Matt Jones.
Liverpool 4, Spurs 1. The Salah drought is over. Kulusevski gives the ball away near the Liverpool penalty area. They break through Szoboszlai. He perfectly timed his pass to Salah, who, as we've seen so many times before, cuts inside on his left foot and finds the bottom corner. Liverpool 4, Spurs 1.
Salah up to 33 for the season. Liverpool will be champions today. City with the ball inside the Forest box. Grealish just taking an extra touch, then feeding Marmoush again. He can't find a way past the youngster Abbott. Half clear. Kovacic losing out. Forest will try and break forward quickly. Pep doesn't like the look of this. Forest getting it forward now with Elanga to Chris Wood. Forest look up and then find that they've got 5 City players between themselves and goal. Elanga chipping in, up left-footed volley. Oh, it's hit the bar. Stunning effort from Gibbs-White. What a magnificent strike, because it wasn't a great ball to find him, and he's hit it on the swivel with a left-footed howitzer of a volley that has hit the frame of the goal. Deserved better. Magnificent attempt.
Well, probably be one of the goals of the season if that would have hit the back of the net. He's got his left foot right round it and smashed it square onto the crossbar. And Forest, well, if ever they needed one to drop for them, that was it.
Alex Crook, you had a great view of that. Could not have come closer.
I think the crossbar, Jim, is still rattling. What a hit from Morgan Gibbs-White. 2 big chances for Forest in this second half. He was clearly still pumped with adrenaline because he then went to try and win the ball back. He went clattering into Mateo Kovacic. He's picked up a yellow card, Morgan Gibbs-White. And a word for Kevin De Bruyne as well, who's been out warming up. He was the first of the City subs to lead the celebrations after that second goal. How long until we see him come on?
Well, thank you, Crookie. 10th yellow card of the season for Gibbs-White. Forest will bring the ball forward again with hands to Hudson-Odoi, right-footed into a dangerous area. Forest going by the attack, easily cleared by Diaz with the header powered into the ground. But again, around us, behind Crookie way to our left-hand side. A little bit of volume from the Forest support, who feel heartened. Got something to try and grab hold of. With that stunning effort from Gibbs-White that came close to halving the deficit. It's going to take a moment like that, you would feel. A moment of inspiration to get Nottingham Forest back into this game. They trail 2-0. Anderson for Hudson-Odoi. There's a real reluctance from Forest to serve it up and get it inside the penalty area. Dominguez, Wood, Gibbs-White. Hudson-Odoi level with the edge of the City box. Back inside the penalty area now for Anderson onto his right foot, but he's a little bit wider than the near post. 2-0.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi's really got to be encouraged by his teammates. He's received the ball in front of us on several occasions now, and every occasion has seen him come back onto his right foot and play backwards. And you've just got to put your head down and drag it down that line and see what the likes of Nunes has got defensively. Unless you ask the question, you don't get the answer you want.
Well, we're 67 minutes in, so we're midway through the second half. And Forest have had 3 shots. Haven't had one on target so far. Come close with 2 of them, with the one that's still rattling the crossbar. And that Elanga miss in the very early stages of the second half. But they're calling for the cavalry. And we're going to see Sangare and Taiwo Awoniyi come on very shortly. So a double change imminent for Forest. They need to try and find themselves a way back into this game, however unlikely it might feel at the moment. And don't forget, you can hear all the reaction of the last night's fight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn on TalkSport's boxing YouTube channel. You can hear from both fighters, Chris Eubank Sr. and Declan Rice as well, with his save. It was some fight. And TalkSport boxing YouTube channel with all the reaction to that. Ball inside the penalty area here from Toffolo. He's just stood up a high ball towards the far post. And Wood, knowing he wasn't going to get there, just leant into Ortega, who would have expected the bang. The play goes on. Silva's got it. Forest will make the double change at the next break in play. Still trailing by 2 goals to 0. Rico Lewis in the second minute, and Guardiola 6 minutes into this second half. Kovacic can bring it forward. It's going to be the year that he has a little bit of personal retribution in this competition. Mateo Kovacic, who's been the runner-up in it on several occasions. 2020, 2022, 2024, 2025 see him win a winner's medal. Ball goes back to his goalkeeper, and it's played out towards Kovacic again. Kovacic to Gvardiol, left-hand side of the box. Oh, he's almost lost it. He has lost it. Gibbs White, the angle's tight, and he's hit the post this time. And you sense that this is not going to be Forest Day. Ortega and Kovacic making a right mess of that. And Gibbs White nipped in, and he hit it round behind the goalkeeper from a tight angle. But he should have scored. And he's hit the inside of the far post, and it's ricocheted to safety.
Well, in a game that Forest really have been second best, they've hit the woodwork twice now and missed a gilt-edged chance. They need something to drop for them. They need to make that happen themselves, that is for sure. And hopefully the substitutes coming on will have an impact in regard to that.
Stu, how has he not scored that? Because he had so much time. Yes, the angle is prohibitive, but he can almost walk it into the net from where he is. He's only 3 or 4 yards out. And he's hit the inside of the post.
Yeah.
And then not even hit the inside of the post, so it then hits the post and goes in. He's hit it, and it's come back out.
Yeah, it's just the angle, really. He's cutting it back across the face of goal. And basically the curl on the balls took it away from the goal rather than into it.
Forest are going to make those changes. Anderson and Wood are off. Awoniyi and Sangare come on. Manchester City will make a change as well. Ilkay Gundogan is going to be coming on to replace Jack Grealish. There's another goal at Anfield. Matt Jones.
There certainly is. Liverpool 5, Spurs 1. There's no doubting that they're going to do the job today now. Spurs failing to deal with a Liverpool attack in their box. Eventually it falls to Alexander-Arnold. He sends it into the 6-yard area. Salah is there to prod home, but Udogie is on the end of it and taps into the back of the net for an own goal. We have just had an announcement that it's going to be checked, but at the moment Liverpool 5, Spurs 1.
At the moment 5-1 it is in the grand scheme of things academic. This one is 2-0. We played 71 minutes, and my mind flashes back, Stu, to the FA Cup semi-final that you and I watched here last year, where at this stage with 71 minutes gone, Manchester United led Coventry by 3 goals to 0. And Coventry came back with goals from Sims, O'Hare and Wright in the final 20 minutes to take the game to extra time. Will Nottingham Forest be able to get the 2 back that they need to replicate that Coventry fight back against Mancunian opposition in the semi-finals last year? Of course, ultimately, United went through, won on penalties and ended up winning the cup. That goal at Anfield stands, incidentally. It is an Udogie on goal. It is 5-1 to Liverpool, who will be the champions. And Spurs can score 5 without reply in the final 20 minutes. Spoiler alert, they're not going to. The ball over the top from Murillo. Elanga's going to chase after it. And Lewis is in there fighting for it with Sangare, who loses that then to Kovacic, and first opportunity for Gundogan to bring the ball forward. And on the left-hand side of the penalty area, it's laid back by Marmoush. Jack Grealish, one of the players replaced. What did you make of his contribution today, Stu?
I think he was steady away. I don't think he overly caught the eye, but he played his part in knitting things together, played that slightly tucked-in role. And I think that might be the role for him going forward as a footballer, to be honest with you, rather than playing it on that width.
Thoughts on the Forest change in a moment as Savinho brings it forward towards the edge of the D. Kovacic, after a nice layoff from Marmoush. Ilkay Gundogan back for Kovacic again. O'Reilly past a couple of challenges. Savinho, then O'Reilly. The angle's tight and he's blocked by Abbott. And it is a corner. I think Forest thought that there should be an offside against O'Reilly, but a corner has been given.
I'll tell you what, there's some really lazy legs, or tired legs, let's say, in the Forest ranks at the moment. Dominguez looks as though his race has run. And I'm surprised that he wasn't the one that come off instead of Anderson, personally. But if they can see the third at this stage, Jim, it is let's go home, basically.
Manchester City trying to make that happen now with a corner. They're sixth of the game. They lead 2-0. Forest have offered very little, and yet they've hit the post and the bar and missed a glorious chance. In comes the corner from the left-hand side. And it's knocked away with two defensive headers by Dominguez. Back out of that City left-hand side again. Another opportunity for Marmoush to try and deliver. Play back towards Gundogan. Neat little turn from the German international on the corner of the penalty area. Marmoush then getting towards the byline, playing it back in. Another chance for City, and Gundogan just thought he could get himself into a shooting position. Can't quite, turns away. Back out of the Manchester City left once more. Here's O'Reilly. Oh, strong challenge coming in on him. Referee says no foul by Sangare. Now it comes down towards Bernardo Silva. Silva attacking the edge of the penalty area. And then laying it out towards the right-hand side for Savinho. Savinho back for Nunes, wearing 27 for Manchester City. Ruben Diaz, so dependable at the back. Receiving the ball from Kovacic, back from him to Vardiol. Kovacic finding more space to turn in the midfield, and he just steps away from the exhausting looking Dominguez and can feed Savinho. Savinho running towards the edge of the penalty area, taking on Toffolo on the outside, playing the cross right through the 6-yard box that nobody could get a touch on. Goes back out towards Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan to Marmoush, and all of a sudden there's a feeling here, Stu, that Forest are just chasing shadows.
They've just gone Forest. Physically they've gone, you know. Gibbs White's not showing that energy. Dominguez is just a corpse in a body at the moment, to be honest. And there's too many players just looking at the game here. 4 or 5 players looking back at their defence and saying, well, I hope you clear it, because if a third goal comes, the energy will drop out of everybody.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to hear the Nottingham Forest reaction to this performance from you, the supporters. We'll hear it together with Majestic and Alan Pardew taking your calls, not just on this tie, on yesterday's and everything else that has happened over the sporting weekend as well. And Liverpool being crowned champions imminently. Pardew, of course, the last Crystal Palace manager for an FA Cup final. That's a record that he's only going to hold for the next 3 weeks or so. As things stand, it is going to be Palace against Manchester City. They're getting the ball here. There's a reaction from some Forest fans in front of us as he just drags one towards the near post rather than trying to find Awoniyi in the middle. And City are able to easily get it away. 14 minutes to go and Manchester City lead 2-0.
Yeah, as I say, for City now, it's a game of just keep possession of the ball, kill the tempo. Potential counter-attack situations. I don't think they're too fussed about getting a third, but with the energy levels in the Forest ranks as it is, there's every chance they might get a third.
Back underway in that Women's Champions League semi-final second leg. Arsenal 2 up on the day, 3-2 up on aggregates, live on TalkSport 2. Here's Marmoush bringing it forward. Savinho, he's got Nunes to his right. Oh, he's played a poor pass that Nunes is going to be able to keep in, but he should just have been able to roll him into a shooting position. Nunes has still got it. Better pass from him back to Savinho than the one that had preceded him. Forest, thinking their life's pretty difficult as it is, are about to be faced by Doku and Foden coming off the bench, which just underlines the strength of resources that Manchester City have. And Pep's got his right arm around the midriff of Jeremy Doku right now, just giving him a few final instructions. Foden, who's not featured at all in the last 3 games, will be coming on, and he's getting some instructions as well. Some dynamic pointing from Pep. Forest trying to get the ball forward here. There's a tag of legs between Malanga and the left back O'Reilly. And Forest have got a free kick down towards the corner flag as a result of it.
The only one for Forest for me is Elanga, who's prepared to run in behind without the ball and prepared to take people on with the ball. Riley there tracked him back, showed a real good turn of pace, but was a little too aggressive with his manner.
And got a yellow card as a result of that, Nico O'Reilly. And over on TalkSport 2, Russo has made it 3-0 to Arsenal. See Russo's 18th goal of the season. Lyon unbeaten all season. Unbeaten streak that goes back 31 games since they lost to Barcelona in the Champions League last season. They're 3 down at home to Arsenal. It's 4-2 to the Gunners on aggregate. It's live over on TalkSport 2. In comes this Forest free kick in towards the near post, and Gundogan has been able to easily head that away. It falls down for Marmouche. Then it's whacked forward towards halfway, and all of a sudden the counter-attack looks as though it's going to be on, but Lewis couldn't control the ball that took an awkward little bounce in front of him. And Forest have got it back. They're going to make a couple of changes as well, unsurprisingly. Jota Silva and Ramon Sosa are the players that are going to be coming on, because their need for fresh legs with 12 minutes to go is absolutely desperate.
Yeah, they need some energy, certainly in that central midfield area. I'd be surprised if Dominguez isn't one of them. Probably the way he's turned out, both of them.
Forest have it again. Hudson-Odoi. Brilliant 4-4 Forest towards the edge of the penalty area, but forced to turn back inside. It's a nice spray of the ball from left to right over towards Elanga, taking on O'Reilly. Ball inside the box, right-footed Hudson-Odoi. Oh, it's hit the post again. Now Hudson-Odoi chips it back in. Another header sensationally saved by Ortega. It was Gibbs White that had the header saved. And it may well have been Hudson-Odoi hit the post. And now City will break it forward on the counter-attack. And it's 3 against 2. But Milenkovic is going to be able to make the most of a poor touch from Marmouche and get it back to his goalkeeper. Well, they've been second best from the first whistle, and yet they've had more good chances in this game than Manchester City have had. And it remains 2-0.
Absolutely incredible. Was the woodwork been hit 3 times now by Forest? I don't think that really gives you a true impression of the run of play. City have dominated, but Forest have had the opportunities, and aside from that, a gilt-edged opportunity from Hudson-Odoi just after half-time to actually get back in this game.
Well, the first ball that came in was steered towards goal and hit a City player on the edge of the 6-yard box. And it came out after a deflection. Hudson-Odoi hit the post. The next ball worked in ahead of Morgan Gibbs White, and a flying save from Ortega to protect his clean sheet. City making changes. Marmouche off, and Foden is on to replace him. And Jeremy Doku is going to be coming on as well. Doku, who's had an up-and-down season, as has Foden. Foden hasn't scored in his last 15 games for club and country, which is a run that goes back to January now, since he netted against Chelsea. He's got 10, 7 in the Premier League and 3 in the Champions League. And meanwhile, there's a break in play here because Forest have got Abbott down injured, and that may well be a question of cramp and exhaustion.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that. He's not done too much wrong today.
So while Zach Abbott is receiving this treatment, we'll go back to Anfield. The party in Full flow there, Matt Jones.
It certainly is. Liverpool 5, Spurs 1. There's actually some fireworks going off outside the stadium as some Liverpool fans already beginning to celebrate. Liverpool well on top in this one. They could have had a couple more since you were last with me. Spencer's also slapped one wildly wide from distance for Spurs, who are probably wishing they weren't really here. Spurs have got, well, they haven't got a foothold in this game whatsoever. It's all Liverpool, and the fans are having an absolute ball. Liverpool 5, Spurs 1.
I think Matt threw in there Liverpool beginning to celebrate. Love it. Changes being made here. Abbott isn't in a position to continue, and so Ramon Sosa is on. He scored in both of his previous appearances in the FA Cup, and home to Luton and away to Exeter as well. The City changes. Foden and Doku on for Savinho and Marmoush, and Phil Foden is back involved straight away. He's coming towards the edge of the penalty area here for City. I'm just glad to be back playing again after missing the last 3 games not involved. Silva to his right-hand side, cutting it left-footed towards the edge of the penalty area. Sangari's touch wasn't great, fell for Foden. And now Nunes has it. Nunes working it back towards Silva. Silva out towards Doku, who gets a first chance to shine. 8 minutes to go here. Manchester City leading by 2-0 on a day where they've been completely dominant in possession, yet the XG, for all the fact that City have been palpably the better side, the XG is pretty even at about 1.5 apiece, with the flurry of chances that Forest have had. When they've had those opportunities, they've come so close. Remember, they've hit the woodwork 3 times in this second half and missed a really presentable chance as well. On top of that, Ortega's made a decent save. So 5 good second half chances when they've had very little of it. The other Forest change, incidentally, was Jota Silva coming on for retiring Dominguez.
If I said to you before the game, how will be the format of the game, Jim, you would say to me, well, City will have most of the possession, Forest would break away on occasion and have decent opportunities. That's the way the game has sort of panned out in some ways, but it doesn't show the domination that City have had, really, you know?
No, it's never felt. I mean, I know they took the very early lead, which kind of shapes things, but it's never felt as though Forest have been in this game.
No, indeed it hasn't. As I say, they've been too respectful of Manchester City. That was a worry of mine before the game, and I think it's panned out that way. And I'm just watching Bernardo Silva. He just runs and runs and runs, and you see other players are absolutely knackered, and there he is at his age, running backwards, forwards, you name it.
Ball play forward here by Gibbs-White. Sosa playing it through the penalty area, and another sliding chance. Elanga coming in. And it's gone over the bar. The flag up anyway. They wouldn't account that it's going to be a free kick that will be taken by Manchester City. The attendance here today, less than 73,000, a shade under 73,000, a couple of dozen less. And we talked about the disappointment of seeing the empty seats. The Forest allocation absolutely full. And for whatever reason, I think it's something that does need to be looked at next season. There's no doubt those seats could have been sold. And that's not casting aspersions on the Manchester City fans in saying that, but I don't understand why there is the demand that we have thousands of empty seats. It is what it is. 5 to go. 2-0 Manchester City lead. Elanga miss right at the start of the second half. A pivotal moment. Here's Murillo for Forest. Long left-footed ball curved forward by him. Bounces away from O'Reilly. Goes out towards the far touchline. O'Reilly getting his foot to it. He's actually lost possession. Forest fans over on that far side thought it was a foul. Remember, he's already been booked. The referee didn't think it was a foul, and in the end, Manchester City get a goal kick. 4 to go. City leading 2-0.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations the referee thought it was a foul, but thought if I give a foul, I've got to book him and I've got to send him off, and decided against it.
They will restart with the goal kick that Ortega will take. The final will be Saturday the 17th of May. It will be here, live on TalkSport. And barring an extraordinary climax to this game, it is going to be Manchester City against Crystal Palace. City in the final for the 13th time, Palace for the 3rd. join us Saturday the 17th. It's 3 weeks yesterday. Ball out of play for a throw over on that far touchline. Score here, Forest 0, City 2. Don't forget, Alex Crook with all the reaction from the tunnel here at Wembley. The Majestic and Alan Pardew taking your reaction on the final word with 08717 223344 the number, and you can book your call right now. Tomorrow morning, incidentally, on breakfast, Troy Deeney and Ali McCoist from 6 here on Talk Sport. If you fancy something different on your morning commute, Chris Evans' breakfast show every weekday morning from 6:30 on Virgin Radio, which you can listen to on DAB or by downloading the app. Now, Nico Gonzalez will be on for Manchester City in a moment. The Spaniard just getting ready, just going through the motions in the technical area, jumping up and down. He'll be on the next break in play. City got possession. It's their fans, you can hear, with 3 minutes to go. They're nearly there. The crossfield ball was poor. Seized upon here by Callum Hudson-Odoi. To the left-hand side of the penalty area is Ilanga. Tao Awoniyi in the middle, waiting for a delivery. Hasn't come yet. Worked back by Ilanga. Gibbs White clipping it in here. Awoniyi gives chase. Was overwhelmingly second favourite, and Vardy got it away. City skewer the ball out towards the left-hand side for Jeremy Doku. Just had his ankles tapped, and that's gone out of play for a free kick. Or a free kick has been given, should I say, and the change will be made for City, and Gonzalez will come on to replace Kovacic.
Yeah, as I say, there's been an alert here as well. Silva's give the ball away for the first time this game, which is very unlike him. But if you looked at his reaction to giving a pass away in the centre of the pitch, there was no hesitation at all. Sprinted back to get goal side. And as I say, he's been absolutely outstanding for the team today, I believe.
Now, City making that change, and they're just a matter of minutes away from the FA Cup final, and at Anfield, Liverpool 3 minutes away from the title. Matt Jones.
They are Liverpool 5, Spurs 1. It's been a procession for the last few minutes, and Liverpool have even afforded the chance to bring the likes of Endo and Elliott and Nunes on. I've got no idea what formation they're playing now. Endo appears to be at right back, but Slot just getting the players on to soak up the atmosphere, and it really is special. Just a couple of minutes away from that 20th crown. Liverpool 5, Spurs 1.
And all the reaction from Anfield to follow here on Talk Sport as well. The ball has gone out of play. It's a Nottingham Forest throw on the left-hand touchline. Alex Crook away to our left-hand side in front of those Nottingham Forest supporters. They've had some moments, Crookie, but I would imagine they're having to be pretty stoical about life now.
Credit to them though, Jim. I'm just looking over my shoulder. There are very few Forest fans heading for the exit. I think they know their dream of a place in the FA Cup final is over, but they're going to cheer their team right until the very end. I do wonder if Nuno had his time again, would he have done something different in the first half? They've certainly been a lot better because they've managed to get the ball out wide. They've got much more width to their play in this second half. I agree with Stuart Pearce. They were far too respectful in that opening 45 minutes. Ultimately, that's what's going to cost them.
Yeah, ultimately, and not quite the rub of the green in front of goal with those 3 efforts that have come back off the frame of the goal. What a magnificent attempt from Gibbs White that hit the bar. What a really poor attempt from him that hit the post when he should have scored. And you just wonder, had they been able to halve the deficit at any stage, whether there would have been a feeling of jeopardy for Manchester City. Forest working it forward now. Long ball over Ilanga, and he just drifts through towards Ortega, and we're in 4 minutes of added time at the end of the game. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, City just happy to see the game out now, and as I say, I think that's been the case. When the dust settles tomorrow morning, it'll be a great learning curve for Forest, there's no doubt about that, and I think Nuno would probably look at it and say, maybe if we played this game again next Saturday, the personnel would be slightly different, the formation would be slightly different, and probably the mentality of the players as well to get after City a bit more.
So is this a game that they've lost on the tactics for rather than losing here at Wembley?
I think a cross-section of both. I think the tactics have not been great. They've put players in positions that have not benefited the individual or the collective, Jim. But on top of that as well, I've seen too many individual players be taken in by the occasion. I've seen Murillo in league games pick the ball up, take people on in dangerous areas and have a real confidence about his play. I've not seen that today from him.
Well, he is a youngster in the grand scheme of things. He's only 22. They had an 18-year-old at right back making only his second senior start, but this isn't going to be Forest Day, and the celebratory Poznan is already up and running away to our right-hand side. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Forest need to score twice in it to take the game to extra time. They've got a free kick, but it's pretty much on halfway. Murillo will send it forward, a big booming kick from the Brazilian's left foot, headed back through the penalty area and out of play for Forest's first corner of the day, which comes in the 92nd minute.
Yeah, listen, I think when you look and dust settles on this, you know, they have hit the woodwork on 3 occasions. Probably had a better chance than that, which they missed the target totally. If one of those would have dropped, who knows?
Elanga taking this corner. It's headed towards goal. It's taken a deflection, goes out for another corner. And Forest players appealing for a handball, but must admit I didn't see that. And the referee has clearly been told by the VAR there's no case to answer. Forest in a hurry to take the corner again. So Elanga with another right-footed away swinger towards the edge of the 6-yard box over Milenkovic. It bounces back outside the penalty area for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi faced up by Bernardo Silva, can clip it in right-footed. Milenkovic trying to come round the back, half-headed away. Milenkovic then guides it in, but with his shoulder as much as anything else. Straight through for Ortega, and a great quick release from him. We'll get Jeremy Doku going down the Manchester City left-hand side. Can they set the seal on it with the third? Well, they're going to have the opportunity to do so from a free kick, because the counter-attack was stopped over on the far side, and that's a yellow card. Doku doing well, taking the ball down towards the corner flag. And it was a combination of Jota Silva. I think it is Jota that has picked up the yellow card. Jota Silva and Sosa converging on Doku, and Jota Silva, the player that has been booked, and that will be that.
Yeah, listen, Jim, I talk through experience, sadly, on this. When you come here and you get beat is one thing, and that hurts. When you play in a semi-final and you know full well you've not done yourself and your club justice, that hurts even more. And I think that will be the case to a man. I don't think Forest have done themselves justice today in regard to what we've seen all season.
Last songs from Nottingham Forest fans whilst they're in this season's FA Cup, because the 4 minutes of stoppage time are all but up. They will restart with a throw over on the Manchester City left-hand side. The free kick was taken, worked short. City win a throw from it, take it, and the full-time whistle goes. It is the end of the dream for Nottingham Forest. Their first FA Cup semi-final in 34 years isn't followed by their first FA Cup final over the same period of time. But to a man and lady, the Forest supporters stand up and applaud their heroes in red. It just wasn't their day, didn't do themselves justice, and when they had the opportunities, they were denied by fine margins. That's not to say that this won't go down as a vintage season for them. Still very much fighting for European football and an outstanding chance of bringing Champions League football back to the East Midlands for next season. But this is Manchester City's day. Took the lead in the second minute, never looked back, and the destiny truly was never really in doubt. So in 3 weeks' time, it's going to be City Palace in the 2025 FA Cup final. Today, Pep's men have won by 2-0.
Yeah, Man City make it through. Let's go straight to Anfield, because they must be nearing the close there. Matt Jones.
The full-time whistle has just gone, and the Liverpool coaching staff and players are streaming onto the field, because the Premier League title is coming back to Anfield after a 5-year absence. The entire squad is pretty much congregating in the centre circle and dancing up and down. There are fireworks going off outside the stadium. There are flares inside it, and pretty much every Liverpool fan here inside Anfield is on their feet, waving a scarf or a flag above their head. It's been such an impressive season for Liverpool. They've run away with this title with plenty of games to spare, but these fans have waited so long to see this. They weren't here 5 years ago when they won behind closed doors, so for many people this will be the first time they've been present to see Liverpool win a trophy, a league title at Anfield. They celebrate with Dua Lipa's One Kiss, that song from the Champions League final a few years ago, but it's job done for Arne Slot. He becomes the third Liverpool manager to win a title in his first full season in charge. An incredible performance here here today as well. They went 1-0 down, but then absolutely ran away with it. Salah breaking his drought of goals for the likes of Gakpo and Diaz en route as well. Spurs just couldn't cope with them. They lick their wounds and head on to a Europa League semi-final. But the story here on Merseyside today, as it has been all season, is about Liverpool, and they have been crowned Premier League champions, English champions for a second time. The banners are flying, the crowd are on their feet, the smell of flares drifts and wafts across the stadium. The party here at Anfield is going to go on deep into the night. Full time at Anfield. Liverpool 5, Spurs 1.
Matt Jones, just stay with you for a second with the celebrations at Anfield. There's emotions running high there as well among the players on the pitch. They're 15 points clear at the top of the table, Liverpool, with 4 games left. They're on 82 points. They've lost only 2 games out of 34 this season. Literally nobody, not even Arne Slot himself, could have predicted he'd do this in his first season.
Absolutely not, and he's tried to play it down all year, hasn't he? He's not tried to look at that Premier League title, or certainly from an interview point of view, he's not wanted to talk about it. I bet that you won't be able to wipe the smile off his face this evening, because he can finally get that Premier League crown. He won't get the medal today, they'll get that at the end of the season. But you're right, Liverpool last season, they were up there, but they weren't really competing with Manchester City, were they? They weren't quite able to go with them. And when Klopp left, you thought, is there going to be a rebuild over the summer? They only signed Federico Chiesa. He's barely played a part in this season. It's largely the same group of players, but Slot has been able to get so much more out of them. I'm just looking to the right-hand side of the stadium towards the Kop end now. The celebrations are absolutely incredible. This is such an emotional moment. All the players are inside the penalty area. Alisson, the last to join them. They're celebrating in front of those fans who have waited so long, and they're just cherishing these moments because they don't come around often. Harvey Elliott, for some reason, has got a corner flag on his shoulder. Gakpo's carrying a scarf, and now Arne Slot joins them as well to take part in those celebrations. It really is incredible what we're seeing here today. The smoke, you can barely see parts of the Kop end now with some of the smoke from the flares that is drifting across the stadium. But as I say, the party's not just going to stop here. There's thousands outside Anfield that have been watching the game on a big screen at a local pub. They'll be joining in the party as well. And thus, look at these players dancing up and down on the penalty spot. They've worked so hard and they've waited so long to bring it back, and some of them are now multiple Premier League winners with Liverpool, the likes of Salah and Van Dijk and others as well. There's not many from a Liverpool persuasion over the last 3 or 4 decades who've been able to say they've won as much as these players have. Well, they've got it now. They've got that crown around their neck.
Matt, we'll be back with you during Madge and Pards, I'm sure, and you'll be speaking to Arne Slot as well as Ange Postecoglou. Good luck with that one.